Ancestrally speaking, going back in time, our ancestors, I'm talking 10, 20, 30,000 years ago, they would have maybe seen 4 or 5 eligible candidates to mate with in their entire existence. But we can turn on porn on our phones and we can see 500 girls in about 10 minutes if we want to. Of course, that's gonna steal and hijack these systems that are designed to keep us alive. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Must Become YouTube channel. My name is Spencer. Today we're going to be talking about why you need to learn how to delay gratification. But before we do, guys, please leave a like if you enjoy any of this content. It pushes it out to the algorithm so other people who need to see this can see it. Secondly, please subscribe to the channel. That way, if I ever put out a video that you need to hear to influence this point in your life right now, you'll see it. And finally, please leave a comment. I love to hear what you guys have to say, your feedback. I love interacting with you guys, all of it. So please like, comment, and subscribe. With that said, we're gonna jump right into today's content. Guys, today we're talking about learning how to delay gratification. You guys have heard this before. It's no secret. It's not a secret sauce. It's just something that you need to learn how to do. We're gonna talk a little bit about how to do it, why to do it, how it's gonna feel when you do. The first thing we'll talk about is why do it? Why learn how to delay gratification? And I guess, first of all, I guess we should talk about what does that even mean? Delaying gratification means doing something, putting in the work today, and being okay that that work is not gonna manifest necessarily in results that make you feel amazing today. It might come back tomorrow or the next day, or in a week, or in a month, in a year, or in 5 years. It might even be further than that. That's what delaying gratification means. It's the ability to put in that work and accept that it's not gonna feel good right now. So what does delaying gratification actually look like and why do it? As no surprise, on this channel, the idea is that what you can become, you must become. If you have potential within you to become something amazing, then it's your obligation to actualize that potential, turn it into something real. And I believe if you're watching this channel, if you've been called to sit and watch this channel and listen to this content, then you've been selected to be someone who has to do something great. And I think you know within you that you need to, and that's why you're watching this content. So guys, why do it? Because if you're constantly having instant gratification, you're living a life of pleasure. And pleasure is something that, again, is fleeting. It's not that great. When you're 100 years old and you look back and you had a lot of pleasure, are you gonna be proud about that? Is anyone gonna remember you for being a hedonist? Probably not. But if we delay gratification and we push and push and push today, and we know that we're not going to get the fruits of our labor for a little while, generally speaking, those are big things. Those are things that take time to materialize. Those are things that you are remembered for. Even Jeff Bezos says, in general, Amazon thinks about 7 years or more out. That's phenomenal. That's why he's done so many great things, is because he's seeing where the world is going and he's putting in the work today so that it doesn't even materialize for 7 to 10 years. That's incredible. So again, why delay gratification? Because a lot of the things that bring happiness, okay, not pleasure, but happiness, come from delaying your gratification. Let's say guy 1 goes on a camping trip and he comes back from the camping trip and all his friends ask him, hey, how was that trip? And he says, oh, it was fantastic. The weather was beautiful. We went hunting, we caught something that was awesome. There was never an issue with anything. Beautiful time, awesome. That's cool. That sounds very pleasant. Not a great story. We'll all say, oh, that sounds great. And that's it. We'll forget about it next week. We don't really care. And he'll say, yeah, I had a lot of pleasure. And that's basically it. Now, let's look at guy 2's story. He went camping. The weather was fucking miserable. It was raining the whole time. The wind was blowing it all sideways. It was freezing. Raccoons, bears got into their food. They didn't have anything to eat. It was freezing. These 2 dudes had to share this one tiny sleeping bag and they were freezing. They were shivering. They had to hug each other because it was just so cold. They had nothing to eat. And they couldn't wait to get home. So they left the next day. And on the way back, their tire got a flat and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Great story, And in a few years down the road, when these 2 guys are sharing a beer at the local bar and they laugh about that story, oh, remember the time we went camping and it was just a fucking disaster? That's when they can be happy. They can share that suffering together and they can laugh about it. And was it pleasant? No, not at all, not for 1 second. But do they have that happiness in sharing that story and laughing? The same way that, war vets will talk about the war and these kind of little moments of happiness they had here and there. It's not pleasant, but when they come out of it, they have this happiness of that moment they shared together. And actually, this is a very, very large indicator of friendships and their accelerating progress. It's that when 2 people or more share a hardship together, their friendship accelerates. The point here is that there is value to actually foregoing pleasure, because what comes out of it is a stronger, happier bond. And that can even be with yourself. And that's where delayed gratification comes in. So to answer the question, why do it? It's because the happiness you're gonna get when you look back on your life, when you're standing at the top of that summit, you're gonna leave the world remembered. You're gonna do something that's incredible, and you're gonna become what you must become. Now, let's talk a little bit about why can't you do that? Why can't you delay gratification? It's because you're trying to split your brain. You're trying to do two things that is just very difficult to do. Over here, you're focused, but over here, you're doing a whole bunch of things where you just don't practice any discipline at all. It's all here. Over here, it's all about pleasure. And over here, you're telling yourself it's about happiness. So again, over here, we have short-term gratification. Over here, we have long-term gratification. We have delayed gratification. And let's also keep in mind that long-term gratification, delayed gratification in general is difficult. You're delaying gratification when your brain generally natively is wired to want immediate gratification. If we go back to ancestral times, it's wiring you to get the things that will satisfy you and keep you alive. Drinking water when you're thirsty, eating food when you're hungry, having sex when there's an opportunity, etc., etc., etc. But modern day has violated all of these pre-designed innate features of short-term gratification and the value of it. So for example, we want to go to McDonald's because there's so many calories in McDonald's. We feel like, wow, we're really surviving. And those mechanisms in our body that want that short-term gratification are giving us what they're supposed to, which is signifying something good, survival from eating, or if we watch porn. Again, ancestrally speaking, going back in time, our ancestors, I'm talking 10, 20, 30,000 years ago, they would have maybe seen 4 or 5 eligible candidates to mate with in their entire existence. But we can turn on porn on our phones and we can see 500 girls in about 10 minutes if we want to. Of course, that's gonna steal and hijack these systems that are designed to keep us alive. This is the part of the problem. It's very hard to rewire yourself to now be like, okay, no, let's go to long-term delayed gratification sort of goals. Very difficult. So again, to reiterate, we have one brain, we're trying to do two things. One of them is inherently very easy by design, except we've been hijacked in the modern day, and one of them is more difficult. With that said, let's get into how you can actually change this. Well, my best suggestion is to use challenges. Now, we've seen these everywhere, back on Pinterest, Twitter, YouTube, searching just on Google, ChatGPT, all these places can develop challenges for you, 30-day, 60-day, 90-day, 100-day, 365-day, whatever, challenges. But the issue about challenges that are too large is, generally speaking, the challenge is tied to the accomplishment of the last day. That's a difficult challenge because there's no necessarily particular goal, or there's certain things that we're aiming for, but the goal should be an outcome of some sort. Let's apply this to, let's say, to working out. Let's say I want to weigh 200 pounds and I want to be 10% body fat. By the way, if that's you, that's incredible. That's very impressive. 200 pounds, 10% body fat. What effort am I going to put in? Well, for the next 30 days, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in an hour-long workout 5 days a week, and that is going to be my input towards that long-term delayed gratification goal. The point that I'm getting at, guys, is it's very important to do these challenges. If you're interested in how these challenges might work and how they might help, please check out my video right here, and it talks about how challenges work and how to use them in your life and why I think they're so amazing. But that's basically how you can begin to orient yourself towards delayed gratification. And there's 2 parts of challenges. Okay, I'll give you a little bit of a teaser here. So one of them is the introductory part of a challenge, saying, okay, I'm going to introduce this to my life. 4 liters of water every day for 30 days. That's what I'm going to introduce. I typically drink maybe 1-2 liters. I'm going to introduce 4. That's the introductory part. Now we also have the eliminatory part. The eliminatory part is talking about the things, of course, that we're going to eliminate. So that's going to be like, for 30 days, I'm not going to watch porn. Now, the reason why you're not going to watch porn is so that you can orient your brain a little bit more towards delayed gratification as a whole. So, introductory component, eliminatory component, I would highly recommend that, and have this oriented towards getting your long-term gratification muscle going. So the elimination thing, what I would do is I would take away the thing that's as short-term oriented in your life. Get rid of those for 30 days or 60 days or 90 days. No, you just cannot do it, okay? Now, of course, that's difficult, but this is the challenge. Now, the introductory component, we're going to do towards a goal that is going to take maybe 6 months or a year or something like that to manifest, but something where you are going to be able to see progress. I think the language one is great, exercise is great, meditation is also great. You'll realize that as you meditate, you get a little bit more clearer in the mind. If it's any of those things, you begin to orient yourself towards more and more and more delayed gratification. Now, when your challenge ends, If you have the ability to just continue to forego those things, continue to do so. Your life will improve. If you don't, okay, maybe you allow yourself a couple of days where you do it again and then you go back on a challenge. Now, what you'll begin to see is you've made progress towards this long-term goal and you've kind of begin to like it because it itself has become a habit or a routine or whatever. So if you start to do that, you start to see those results and you begin to become a little almost addicted to it, which is a bit foreshadowing, a bit addicted to the delayed gratification goals, that's great. Eventually, what's going to happen is you're going to get the results from those delayed gratification goals. You will see how much better you feel about those delayed ones than you do about those instant ones. Those instant ones mean nothing. But these delayed gratification ones, you're trying to learn a language, you're trying to get to a certain weight in terms of hitting the gym, etc., etc., etc. Those feel so much better. When that happens, you're gonna become addicted. You're gonna think, what else can I do that's coming out in a year or 2 years, or push yourself even further? What about 5 years? What's gonna happen? And you're gonna see that the things on this channel become more and more and more and more relevant to you. For example, I have a video about don't get off the train. That's all talking about when you're on this challenge, when you just 30, 60, 90, whatever it is, day challenge, if you're killing it, don't get off the train. Don't stop at 100 days because you're just like, oh, I'm gonna stop at 100. Set another challenge. That still feeds into your delayed gratification orientation that you're looking for. You did something for 100 days. That was delaying something for 100 days. That is really, really good. So guys, the last thing I'm gonna end this video with is urging you guys, kind of like I already mentioned a little bit, I hinted at it, is to protect your delayed gratification goal. Don't just let it flop. Use something that's worked for you in the past to get you to that initial completion of that challenge, and do that again. Protect it, because if you've just done 100 days worth of a long-term goal that might take you 500 days to accomplish, you're a fifth there. If you can protect that 4 more times by using what you learned about your successful challenge, that successful run you just had, you're more and more and more and more likely to accomplish that. You recognize I'm delayed gratification oriented. That is amazing when you begin to realize that, and then you get really addicted as soon as you get those first sweet results, because then you realize, wow, I have the tools to get me there. I know how it feels when I get there, and now it's just what goals, what visions do I want to put into this delayed gratification machine? Okay, guys, I know this was maybe a little bit of a longer one, but I really think this is so important. Delaying gratification can help you in every element of your life, especially if there's big things you want to do and you must become something great. Because what you can become, you must become. Again, guys, I'll remind you, please leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Comment down below if you have any questions. I would love to answer anything you guys have on your mind to do with this channel. I love talking with you guys. Finally, subscribe, because I would hate for a video to come out that would really benefit you that you missed simply because the algorithm doesn't show it to you because you forgot to subscribe. So please do me a favor and do that today. Ring the notification bell as well. That'll also bring good videos up to you when you need them. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Spencer with the Must Become YouTube channel, and I'll see you in the next one.